So many people will tell you no, and you need to find something you believe in so hard.
Hello and welcome to Expert Link and me, David. Since the beginning of time, man has used stories to transfer information or share information down through generations. They've used stories to motivate and inspire, and one of the greatest gifts that those of us with lived experience of homelessness, mental health, substance and alcohol misuse, criminal justice system, victims of abuse and domestic violence, one of the biggest gifts that we can give is to tell our stories, because it's our stories that motivate change and it's our stories that inspire others. So here's my story. I was born back in the 60s, and the 60s back then, there was lots of hippies and free love, and kids like me who were born out of wedlock went straight into the care system. And back in the 60s, 70s, the checks and balances that they have in the care system now, they weren't there then. And a lot of the horror stories you hear about the care system, well, for me, they were real. I can't begin to explain what it's like to go to bed in fear as a child, wake up in the morning in fear as a child. And at 14, trying to escape the reality that was my life, I picked up and I started using alcohol, but mostly solvents. And at 16, I had an opportunity to leave the care system. I'd finished school, so I joined the army. And I remember two significant things from the army. The first is that it taught me how not to drink. And the second thing was that I went on active service. And for those of you who don't know what active service is, that's where the training finishes. You get issued real bullets, but so does the other side. Once I'd left the army after about 8 years, it didn't take me long to pick up drugs again. And I went on a journey using drugs for sort of 15, 17 years. A journey where I struggled with mental health, a journey where I'd often wake up in a prison cell, often wake up in A&E. I lost houses, relationships, all sorts of different things. But after 15, 17 years, not quite sure, I decided to give up drugs. Something positive happened to me and inspired me to give up. So I started on my journey of becoming clean. But even on that journey, it didn't stop me from ending up becoming homeless. And I ended up living on the streets of Croydon. And I have to say that even though I'm an ex-squatty, and one of the most frightening things in the world is to wake up somewhere on a street in the winter, in the snow, and do you know what? I have nowhere to turn to. When you look for your future, it's just black. There's nothing there. You're stripped of your dignity, your self-esteem. You've just got the shirt on your back and nothing else. So I spent some time on the streets, and then where I didn't use drugs, I struggled again with my mental health. And my mental health stuff, I've had two serious episodes during my life. 2 episodes where I have literally been inches from taking my own life. Inches. I ended up in the churches, the floating shelters, and sleeping on a mattress in a hall full of other guys who had similar problems to me. And then I moved into a hostel, and the hostel had 120 bed spaces, and 119 of them had people who were using, or 120 of them, me included, people who have issues around mental health, substance and alcohol misuse, criminal justice system, victims of abuse, domestic violence, all sorts of stuff, When we used to get guys in from prison, they used to complain that it was safer in the wing than it was in the hostel. Luckily, great organisation had the hostel, and they changed it, knocked it down and built a fantastic place now. But it was while I was in the hostel, I needed to keep myself safe and clean, and I was really, really lucky that Smart Recovery had moved into town, if you like, and we're running pilot projects across the UK. And I was very, very lucky where I ran the pilot project for Smart Recovery down in London, the South East. And for 2 years, I ran a recovery group, which was absolutely fantastic. What I also did to protect myself, and because I wanted to give back, I could see so many of the challenges that were out there with the system. I went to college to get my own advice and guidance certificate so I could support people. And part of getting me my qualifications was I had to go and volunteer somewhere 3 days a week at a single persons project, and as part of my coursework, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. But as soon as I'd finished, after a year of college, I set up my own advice and guidance clinic in Croydon, and I was really, really fortunate. I set up in a coffee shop, and Pret-a-Manger, who do some great work for the homeless, and they've done some great stuff to support me over the last few years. What I also did was I got involved with a number of other organisations. I got involved with my local authority. I got involved with the Salvation Army and helped set up a day centre called The Well. It's still running now, and I was involved with it for about 5 years. The Salvation Army employed me for a year when I took on or when we set up The Well, and I ended up managing The Well for a while, which was fantastic for me and fantastic for the guys we were serving. I also got involved with Homeless-Link, and I chaired their expert advisory panel, and it was that experience that made me realise actually that it's the lived experience needs to be inputting into policy and decision makers, and be involved very much in services, the design and delivery. I got involved with the Fulfilling Lives Big Lottery project and set up the first National Expert Citizens Group. And I've also sat on South London YMCA's board, and I now sit on Thames Reach's board. So there's a whole bunch of stuff down there, and I'm sure I've forgotten some of it along the way. I've forgotten to mention it. Other projects like the Link I'm involved with. And sorry, also Croydon Council, who commissioned me for 2 years as a lone worker to work specifically with one of the hardest to reach groups out there living in destitution, which is the Central and Eastern European migrants, which I absolutely loved. But now I'm here at Expert Link. We're going on another journey to bring together the voices and the stories of those from across the UK. So that's where I am, and that's my story. So I want to thank you for listening. And I hope that, to be honest, I hope that some of you will be motivated by this, and I'm hoping that some of you will be inspired to tell your own stories. And if you are inspired to tell your own stories, please contact us. Let us know, because we'd love to hear from you. We'd love you to tell us your story and let us share it, you know, so that we can motivate and inspire even more people. You can keep in contact with Expert Link through our Twitter account, and you'll see all the details underneath our Twitter account. Like us on Facebook. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe to the channel. Go to our website, please sign up to our charter. We need to get 1 million people signed up to that, and that'd be fantastic. But until next time, stay safe.
Don't give up. Don't give up.